Hey there, today we're doing an oil change on a 2020 Chevrolet Spark. It's going to be a super quick oil change. You don't even need a jack, you don't need jack stands, you don't need to take the tire off. You can all just do it with the car in your driveway on the ground like this. So you're going to want to make sure you have like an oil catch can, like what we have right there. And then you're going to want to make sure you get the right oil. So that's going to be a fully synthetic blend of 0W20. And then you're just want to get the oil filter of your choosing. I just go with the Extra Guard Fram because I like that the bottom of it has the grip on it for when you're taking the old one out. Then if you come around into the car, you're going to pop the hood. And then if you don't know where the latch is to pop your hood, it's just this one right down here. So you just pull that, and it pops up in the front. And then on these cars, the latch is just to the left of the emblem. If you're standing in front of the car, you pull it towards the right, and then you lift it up. So you can get a better look here. This is how the latch mechanism works. There we go. So you can see that it just moves that way. And then your hood prop is actually going to be on the top. You just pull it out of the clip, and then it clips into this here, right beside the air filter. All right, so now we're just going to stick our head under the car here, and the only tool you're going to need is a 15mm socket on a socket wrench. So we stick our head underneath. We can see at the very front of the car, here's the oil filter right here, and then the drain plug is right here. So we're going to put the socket wrench right on the back, make sure it's set to loosen. And there we go, we got it broken free. So now I'm going to get the oil catch back there, and I'm going to undo it the rest of the way just with my fingers. Wearing the gloves, of course, because used oil can cause cancer. Okay, so we got the plug out. You can see that there's no metal on the end of the plug, so that shows that the inside of your engine is not grinding away little metal pieces, so that's good. Most drain plugs for cars nowadays will have a magnetic end that the metal, I guess shearings, if you want to call them that, will actually stick to. So if your engine is, scraping off bits of metal, you'll see it on the end of the drain plug when you change your oil. Now, as soon as this is done draining, we're going to take off the oil filter, but to help the oil drain faster, we're going to undo the oil fill cap. Okay, so I just took a shop towel and I wiped off the bolt so it's not covered in oil anymore, and I took off my one glove that was disgusting. There we go, so that's as finger tight as I can get it, and I've cleaned it up. So now I'm going to grab my socket wrench again, which is underneath me. Switch it to tighten. And we're just going to push that away. And put it on. And we're just going to torque that down. Okay, now we're going to move over to the oil filter. So I did an oil change last on this car, so it's a Fram one, and so it has that grip I was talking about. So now you probably want the oil the oil catch can to be beneath it too, because there's probably still oil in it that's going to drip out when you loosen it. And on the Fram filters, it actually normally tells you which way is loosening. So if you are unfamiliar with your car, you can just read what the Fram filter says. But it is lefty-loosey, as most things are. It's just with the orientation of how your head is underneath the vehicle, sometimes it gets a little confusing. Good. So it's dripping, so I'm just going to use the shop towel to finish getting it undone. Okay, and there we are. Anyway, so now what we're going to do here is I just want to look at the top of the filter and make sure that the black seal is still there. So you can see you don't want to have these doubled up, so you want to make sure that this is still on the old one, and as you can see, it is still there. So that's good. I'm going to put that back in the oil. All right, now before we screw this on, since we're going to be screwing it upwards, and the oil is going to be flowing downwards into the filter, you want to actually start by filling it up, so then you're not going to make your engine run with no oil in the filter for the first few cycles. And then you also want to lube up the gasket itself with some oil. So that's what I'm going to do here. Just going to crack this open. just don't want to waste too much oil here, so just fill it up. And then just using some of the oil that I put around the top, I'm just going to lube up the gasket. The seal, the O-ring, whatever you want to call it. And now this is ready to be screwed on. So you just want to tighten it as tight as you can, and then a little bit more. Then it's time for the most satisfying sounds. Okay, now we're going to turn it on and check to make sure that after it's cycling the oil, nothing is leaking. Okay, so the engine is running. It's been running for a little bit now. You can see that there's nothing leaking from the filter. There's nothing leaking from the drain plug. So you know you've done a good job. And now we are going to do the final step, which is actually resetting your oil life monitor. So on these cars, they're equipped fancy computers. So if you press the menu button, it'll actually show you your oil life. Now, it's not going to automatically detect what your oil life is. It just goes by time, kilometers, since the last time it was reset. So right now, it still thinks that I'm at 36% oil life because I haven't reset it yet. So to get to this screen, you're going to press menu, depending on which one you're on, and then you use this arrow key here to navigate through the screens. So if you press menu and it doesn't show up, you just have to scroll through. So we're going to press menu. You can see that you can check your tire pressure and all of that too. And here we are. So now that we're onto the oil screen, we're going to press this button here, set clear, and we're going to hold that. And we let go, and then it goes back up to 100. So there you go. That's it. That's how you do an oil change on a 2020 Chevrolet Spark. And thanks for watching, and have a good afternoon.